When it comes to change and uncertainty, there's usually three responses, and two of those responses are growth limiting responses, while one response is the response that allows for growth in the face of uncertainty and change. So the first response is the ostrich response. And if you know about ostriches, that basically means when change or uncertainty occurs, you put your head in a hold. You ignore it, you shut it out, you block it, you don't pay any attention to it, and you just pretend like it's not happening. So it's like put your fingers in your ears and go la 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 la, no change, no change, no change. And that's the ostrich response. The roadrunner response is to run. So when you see change or uncertainty happening, or some sort of difficult change or uncertain state of affairs occurring, you run from it. You move from that place to a place of greater comfort that probably looks more like the old place did before it started changing. So you just run from the change and go back to some place that represents an unchanged state of being. And then the final way is Wile E. And Wile E. Coyote, if you know from the cartoons, is someone who is constantly innovating, trying new methods, new tools, new techniques, new approaches, but never stops. Like every day gets up and tries again, tries a new product, tries a new technique, tries a new method. And it seems like there's never going to be a point where Wile E can succeed or will actually be able to grasp what he's going after. So what we see in the cartoon is Wile E is constantly chasing this roadrunner, but he's always getting outsmarted or evaded in some way. But then we also recognize that part of why Wile E keeps getting up and chasing the roadrunner is not because he wants to catch him, it's because he enjoys the process of the chase. He actually enjoys trying out new tools. He enjoys innovating. He enjoys coming up with different methods. He likes the paces that it puts him through because it keeps him entertained and probably quite fit. So I think those three approaches to change really represent the natural responses that people or teams or organizations have when change is presented. One is to just ignore it, and those who ignore it run the risk of basically getting bulldozed by that change. If you stand in one place while change is hurtling towards you and you just dig your head in the sand or dig your heels in, then what's going to happen is you're going to be knocked over by that change. You're going to be in some way devastated by it because you never prepared for it. The people who run from change, in a short term, they find that it feels good. They find themselves back in a place of comfort. But the challenge with running backwards is that you never get ahead. If you're constantly running to something that is pre-change or represents an unchanged state, then basically you're starting from scratch, or you're always behind the curve. You're always behind the state of progress that is happening in the environment. So that looks like you either standing still or regressing. And then the final one is really evident of, well, when you're responsive to change by being innovative and iterating your approaches and trying different things, what may happen is you find that once you've actually adopted the change, you're like, okay, well, what do I do next? Now I actually have to think of something else to do, because after all of this trying and learning and experimenting, I actually got through the change. And throughout that process, I've actually learned and grown a lot. I've learned 1,000 ways that didn't work just to get to the one way that did work. And so the next time I'm going through change, I can actually probably get to that change a lot faster than I did before. So these are three approaches. And I think the first two are just that very clearly limit growth. And the Wile E approach is actually the one that is going to help you succeed even before you're actually fully able to master the change.